CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns is tracking the latest developments for us from the White House and joins us now where the sun is shining bright. Caitlin, good morning to you. What do we know about this temporary agreement between the U.S. and China?
Hey, Errol, great to see you. And that's what I would emphasize, is that it is temporary. Essentially, the U.S. and China have agreed to slash those tariff prices for 90 days while they continue to negotiate. But nonetheless, this is considered a breakthrough after those talks in Geneva between the U.S. and China. You'll remember that the U.S. had placed an 145% tariff on Chinese goods, and in return, China had placed a 125% tariff on American goods. So under this deal, essentially, these tariffs would be brought down, not eliminated outright, but brought down. So the U.S. has agreed to bring them down to about 30%, while China has lowered its rate to about 10%. But this is big news, especially, as you can imagine, for U.S. companies who had been delaying working with China. We saw, remember, at West Coast ports, traffic there had really diminished, had dropped off significantly over the past few weeks. So I think a lot of U.S. companies will likely be cheering this, but also wondering what exactly these negotiations will look like. And still there are questions about how you plan in this environment.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I also want to ask you, now that the president is on his way or will be on his way to the Middle East, about this headline, sources suggesting the royal family of Qatar will give President Trump a jumbo jet for presidential use. The government says, the Qatari government says talks are still ongoing. You've got critics saying this looks like undue influence. What is this really about?
Yeah, Errol, this was going to be the biggest headline today before these Chinese tariff talks were announced. But essentially what we have learned is the Qatari government has been considering gifting the U.S., the president, a Boeing 747 and to use as a temporary Air Force One. This, of course, elicited a lot of legal questions and also questions of conflict of interest. Democrats called this outright bribery. Chuck Schumer, the Senate minority leader, said that this was essentially, foreign influence, potentially. Trump himself said on Truth Social, his preferred social media platform, that, why shouldn't we take a free airplane? And he insisted that this would be out transparently. We also know that this wouldn't, of course, just be given straight to the U.S. It would have to go through security measures, be debugged potentially, of course, as you can imagine. But the president seemed to be receptive of this idea. But, of course, all of those legal and ethical concerns remain if this does, in fact, go through. So we are waiting to see exactly what is being offered and what the president would accept. And as you can imagine, lots of questions remain.
Oh, yeah. All right, Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you very much. We want to discuss more now. President Trump, his trip to the Middle East, his first major overseas trip of his second term. Now, the president will head to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, as we've shared. He also visited Saudi Arabia, though, on his first overseas trip during his first term back in 2017, you'll remember. Let's bring in Iulia Joja now. For more analysis on this. She's a senior fellow at the Middle East Institute and an adjunct professor at Georgetown University. Iulia, thank you for joining us this morning. From your view, what is the significance of this choice in his second term, once again prioritizing Saudi Arabia and the Middle East?
Good morning, Errol. Thanks for having me. It's great to be with you. Indeed, just like you mentioned, this is the first time, or the second time rather, that the American President Trump is visiting Saudi on his first visit, or rather regional Gulf countries. He did that in the first term, and we all remember the shining globe that the president and the first lady and regional leaders touched. And then, just like now, this is also a message or a signal to traditional allies of the United States that this is not what President Trump is prioritizing, ties to them, as we already know with the tariffs. And we also have to see this visit in the context of a change from the first Trump administration to the second. In the first one, the priority was great power competition. We all remember that very well. In the second Trump term, this seems to be rather great deals that the president is seeking. And so we remember that the leader of Saudi Arabia was the first one to be able to congratulate Donald Trump on his inauguration for the second term. And back then, MBS, the leader of Saudi, has offered an investment into the United States of $600 billion. President Trump has expressed his hope that this will be up to $1 trillion. And this is probably the reason why he is visiting Saudi Arabia first. Second element here is diplomatic ties. The United States has prioritized the Abraham Accords, normalization between Arab countries and Israel. Saudi has still not normalized relations with Israel. Everything depends on what is happening in Gaza. And so that's expected to be on the priority list of the American president as well.
And, I remember living in the UAE about a decade ago, being so impressed by the massive development based on oil money. Can you help us understand the relationship between the U.S. and Qatar, considering it really punches above its weight as far as its size?
Yeah, so with Qatar, as well as with many things in the Middle East, more than one thing can be true at the same time. So U.S. relations with Qatar are very much focused on military cooperation. It's an important American ally, and we have an important military base there. At the same time, Qatar is a major producer of oil, just like the United States is. And while the United States has, in the last decade or so, emerged as the greatest producer and exporter, ties in energy, just like you're suggesting, are extremely important. On the other hand, Qatar is also important when it comes to diplomatic relations in the region. It has facilitated a lot of negotiations and deals in the region from a diplomatic point of view. At the same time, Qatar is also known for supporting, for instance, Al Jazeera, that is sometimes taking anti-American positions, being a supporter of Hamas. And so that further complicates bilateral ties. And so all of that is likely to be on the agenda.
And we'll watch all of that closely. Iulia Joja, thank you so much for joining us.